It's Tuesday, October 24th. We're looking at the word for you today. It's our second day on Armed for Spiritual Battle, for spiritual warfare. Our scripture passage today is Ephesians 6:13. Paul says, "Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand." In verse 11, we're told that we can expect the enemy to attack us. So, since we know the enemy's going to attack us, it's kind of like if you get in the car and going on a trip, and you know that you have a tire that tends to leak air a little bit. Well, you'd better have some type of a compressor inside your car. If you get out in the middle of nowhere and tires going down, you've got to have something to air that tire up. So since I know I have trouble with that tire, I've got to have some kind of a compressor with me. Well, since we know the enemy is going to attack us, he says, therefore, because we know we're going to be under attack, therefore we need to do what? Put on the full armor of God. He repeats himself from verse 11. We need the full armor. Why? Because the enemy is stronger than we are. Now, the enemy is not stronger than God plus us, but the enemy is stronger than us. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, not if, but when, we know we're going to be attacked. You have that tire that tends to go flat, or at least lose air and get low. You know it's going to go low. So you have something there to air it back up and make sure you can keep moving. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. Again, it's about standing, not conquering. Victory doesn't have to look pretty. You just keep going. You keep standing. A boxing match. Sometimes you see a boxer and they're raising his arm. He's the winner. And you look at him and you think, man, if he's the winner, what does the loser look like? It may not be pretty, but he's standing. The other guy isn't. And that's the idea of putting on the full armor of God, so that we can stand. We may take hit after hit after hit, but with the armor on, it's not going to be fatal. We can stand. Battling spiritual warfare. First of all, don't see everything as spiritual warfare. Sometimes people see the devil behind every bush. No, everything is not Satan. Everything is not the demons. Sometimes we make our own problems. But sometimes it's just life. So don't make things bigger than what they are. So how do we know if it's a spiritual battle? Well, one, it takes our joy of the Lord away from us. When we find we're joyless in God, it's probably a spiritual battle. Another thing, it usually happens right before or right after God has done something in us. You're getting ready to do something you know God has been wanting you to do, and suddenly everything is going wrong. Probably a spiritual battle. You're getting negative thoughts about you. Or it could be this way. Satan's telling you how great you are. That's a bad thing too, because then we put more faith in ourselves than we do listening to him. Or maybe we've done something and God has worked, we've been great. We are really open for temptation then. That's spiritual warfare. We lose our joy. Attack comes before or after God using us. A third time, when you face unusual adversity. You get attacked in a way that maybe you never have before, and you think, this is strange. What's going on here? Something very unusual happens. That's a good indication that it's spiritual warfare. So keep praying and trusting God, and make sure you put on every piece of armor. If you're doing good, but you're having trouble with your mind, put on the helmet of salvation. If you're doing good, but your heart is getting hard and you're critical, put on the breastplate of righteousness. And as you look in Ephesians chapter 6, it tells each of those, and you can kind of look and see, okay, this is what I need. You know, it's interesting. Ken Bailey is a scholar, and he studied sheep, among other things. And he said sheep have a special problem. They have no defenses. cats. Cats have teeth and claws and speed. Dogs have their teeth and their speed. Horses can kick, bite, and run. Bears claw, bite, and crush. Deer can run, but sheep have no defense mechanism. They can't run fast enough to get away from anything. They can butt you with their head, but that's not going to hurt anything. They don't have claws or sharp teeth to bite with. Sheep are pretty much defenseless. So what's their defense? Their defense is the shepherd. Isn't it interesting that in the Bible, God calls us sheep? What's our defense? It's not our physical strength. It's not our intellect. It's not our cunning. Our defense is the shepherd. The shepherd tells us, I've given you the armor to put on. Put on the armor, and you'll be protected. Is there any piece of the armor of God that you are not putting on? Would you identify that and put that piece on today? Have a good day.